All right, y'all. What's up? Welcome to the end of the year. I am recording this actually midnight, December 31st. So I'm pushing it about as close as you can. Yeah, I mentioned this on a community post, actually, probably whichever the last few, and also on Twitter. I talked like 5 times about how I'm going to be ranting. At first, I was going to do not a script, just write out my thoughts and like kind of keep it as a more organized journal. And then I realized didn't want to write that much. I write so much for every other part of my life. I just wanted to let it go. So yeah, I'm gonna be talking about stuff with y'all. Couple warnings, I guess. If it's not obvious, I am sick. I have been I've tested positive for the novel coronavirus COVID-19 once again. Kind of ridiculous, honestly. But it's a fitting end to 2023. So much stuff has not made sense, and getting COVID twice in the year 2023 doesn't make sense. Yeah, a lovely way to end out the year. I'm feeling fine. I think because I had it so recently, or like relative to most other people in my position who just wouldn't be getting it, it didn't really hit me that hard, but it did change my voice. I listened to it. I recorded myself like 10 times, trying to be as clear as possible to make sure this wouldn't be grating. And it might still be. The content probably will be. So enter at your own risk, I guess. I'll be cutting in and out anytime I sneeze or anything. This is all irrelevant. But I'm committed now. We're 2 minutes in, and we're gonna keep going. So yeah, this is gonna be like a retrospective, I suppose, on my year 2023. This will not be a therapy session. You don't have to worry. I won't be I won't be forcing a lot of stuff into you. I am going to get into a lot of my own thoughts. Be really critical, not even in a positive or negative way. I just I enjoy thinking about myself, and I don't know how that comes off, but I don't mean it in the way that I'm sure most would initially react hearing someone say that. There's just a time where I didn't, nothing about myself made me feel positive. So the idea of trying to critically reflect and think about the stuff that I'm doing would just repulse me. It, so, in order to break away from that, I really genuinely I forced myself to think about the stuff that I'm thinking, I'm feeling, I'm doing. Really like break all of my emotions and my thoughts down to the most base. Why are you feeling happy? Why are you feeling sad? Is this happiness? Is this sadness? Whatever. You get the point. And kind of build back from there. That was like a multi-year process. A lot of ups, few ups, many downs. Um, but yeah, that kind of led me to be the version of myself that I am today. Obviously, I will not continue to be this way. I hope not anyway. I hope I'm continuously growing the same way everyone does. But yeah, so the idea of really thinking about the stuff I've done and experienced in this time, especially 2023, I feel like most people who are progressive thinking enough, that's probably laying it on too thick. Most people really see the new year as an opportunity to start fresh, or maybe not fresh. Just it's a jumping off point. It's like a leap pad. That January 1st comes around, you can become a new person. You can become a person that you aspire to be. And obviously, it doesn't work like that. But I do appreciate that sentiment, and I think as a part of the mental evolution process that I was talking about previously, I 2023 was the first year that I really hammered that idea home. The idea that I can actually change. Or, I don't know. I don't really know All I know is that 2023 was a year that I knew was going to be important. I've known for a while, basically every year that I'm alive since I've turned 18 is important in its own way. Um, but yeah, it's 2020, middle half of 2022 to the new year, I was on an upward trajectory. Maybe not super like, it wasn't exponential, but it was upward. And I was feeling better and better as time would go on. And I thought 2023 can be a year that boom. And I don't really know the ways I thought that would happen, but, and it's obviously debatable if that happened or not, but I feel like it kind of did. I graduated from college, granted, full year late based on my 4 year, my pre-planned 4 year trajectory, given the extra credits I had before even getting into college. Full year late. I don't care though. Graduated college. I moved back in to my parents' house from college. Um, that wasn't a positive for me, but I felt comfortable. I've been supported, and that's obviously a positive. I would never take that for granted. Um, but yeah, graduation was kind of the only thing I was holding on to. It had been the first time I'd stepped on a college campus since 2022, and even then, really wasn't on there that much. Spring of 2022 to be specific, because I was expecting that I was supposed to graduate spring 2022. I walked for the graduation ceremony spring 2022, because I only needed a few classes, and they were all supposed to be offered in summer, and it turns out they weren't, and I was kind of just fucked. So I was hoping that I I wasn't hoping anything. I was lying to myself, and I said, "Oh, maybe if I just wait and the credits can get turned out," because I was waiting on transfer credits to go through. So I took fall 2022 of the new school year off because like, oh, you know what? I think I'll just the credits will come through. I'll graduate. I'll get my diploma. Obviously, it wasn't gonna happen. So I spent a full month of my life. Oh, like 3 or 4 months, however long a semester is, not doing shit. Well, I was working. I wasn't just sitting at home, but it was the first time I'd been without school. So, going into 2023, realizing, oh wait, dumbass, you need to take classes, and also you need to take classes in person. And the school I'm going to is 2 hours away because I used to live there. It was like, I don't know. I kind of cherished that, to be honest. I would resent it a lot because 2 times a week I'd have to drive 2 hours. But truthfully, I was on campus. I was around people my age for the first time in like a year. It's easy to forget how much you loved something and before you leave. And that's a sentiment as old as time, but it really made me understand that. Um, God, I'm really yapping. No, I only say that because this wasn't even at all part of what I was thinking about talking about. But yeah, so we're still kind of early in the vid. That's what it's going to be. I don't know how long this is going to be, but this type of conversational flow, this is what's going to be. Um, so yeah, 2023 up until May was me just working and going to school 2 times a week. Well, taking online classes, like driving to San Diego 2 times a week from where I am, which is 2 hours. And other than that, kind of nothing until April, which is why I actually mentioned it before. I was like seeing a friend, I still knew people that were on campus, so I would see them hang out, had talk at the coffee shop on campus, I'd be like, oh shit, I'm still young, I'm holding on to my youth. Um, but other than that, it would be like going home and just like sitting, like damn, oh shit, I have to go to work. Okay, going to work and sitting, and then coming home like damn, oh I gotta do my homework. Oh, and sitting after doing homework or while doing homework. Which, I don't know. It felt like I was missing something, and I was. I didn't know how I was gonna fix that, but I knew I was missing something. So we come to April 9th, 2023, and that is the first day that I have ever seen a non Gangnam Style K-pop affiliated thing. And I say non Gangnam Style because I always forget that that is K-pop, and it's actually probably the most important K-pop song of all time. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, obviously I knew that one. Everyone knew that song. But April 9th, 2023, I saw the "What Is Love" clip from a now private account. My pinned tweet on Twitter is my genuine first tweet about K-pop ever. It was me saying this moved me, dot dot dot, as a quote tweet on the "What Is Love" music video clip I saw, and I think the reason that Twice and K-pop in general is so important to me now, besides my like genuine interest and love for the idols and the music they create, like I genuinely love that stuff and I appreciate it. So that's its own thing. But the reason any of this happened for me at all is because that was one of the first times when I clicked on that silly little video, the little snippet of the second chorus of "What Is Love." It was the first time I was secure enough with myself, and I think my thoughts more so than myself, to potentially be into something like that. I never rejected anything really, any type of entertainment or thought process that for the reasons of being like too feminine. I don't know, that stuff, even when I was a kid and growing up around machismo guys, that just didn't make sense to me. It did, as a concept, rejecting things on the basis of being feminine or like lacking masculinity. It just doesn't make sense. And obviously, as an adult, I definitely don't agree with any of that stuff. But yeah, I never rejected it for that reason. It was more so thinking about myself and just wondering how open I could be about enjoying stuff. And it was never within my literal household. I want to make that clear. My the nuclear family from which I was born are incredibly supportive people, and I love them. When we start branching out, and there's still people I see in school, especially, different story. But yeah, a core four plus one me. I love you guys. They're great. Um, it was never a risk of me being bullied. Especially in high school, I I'm like 6'2". I was in much better shape back then than I am now. It was genuine, never worried. It was more so, I I always valued what people thought of me way too much, and I still do. It's really hard for people not to, honestly. But back then, it was like crippling. It was bad. So the idea of thinking about K-pop, especially because 2017, 2016, BTS kind of really made its first push into America, and I'm in a predominantly Asian community, Asian and Latino people. Um, Actually, yeah, I think the demographic was greater Asian, greater Latino community, like 80% in my high school, and there were 20%. Other 20 was like other ethnicities and races. So yeah, it really permeated very quickly in my school, and obviously there were Korean folks, Korean people I was friends with, and they would be very open about it. Thinking, oh, it's cool, it's something they like. Anytime someone has something they like, I'm happy for them. Like, I don't. Another thing I never understood was getting upset that people like stuff. This, okay. I was gonna go into online discourse, not necessary for this. Um, yeah, it didn't make sense. It didn't make sense for someone like me to be into stuff like that. So when I took the leap, the metaphorical leap of getting into anime, because one of my basketball friends put me onto it, actually. Um, Second half of the first semester, my senior year of high school, I was like, holy shit, I love this. And I'd been familiar with it, obviously, growing up in my area, the same way I was familiar with Luis Miguel and shit before a lot of people. Um, Luis Miguel's an older Mexican singer. It just, it kind of opened my eyes to this idea that maybe everyone around you is really fucking stupid when it comes to some stuff. Maybe they're really judgmental for no reason, and it's not based in anything. And that kind of play goes hand in hand with my political awakening, which I certainly will not get into on this. Um, but yeah, so at the same time, I was kind of developing a lot, and 2018 actually became a very important year for me. Sorry, I will get back to this year, but I'm just talking through some stuff. Um, because actually, on, I don't remember the specific date, but in 2018, the day of my college orientation, I created my first Twitter account with the express purpose of being online in a community, not just like IRL, following people from high school type stuff, which I had and I hated because everyone was posting like common white girl, Dory. Do you remember those accounts? I don't know if I'm showing my Twitter age, but those accounts were atrocious. I hated them. It was horrendous stuff to look at, but people loved them so much. Anyway, so I wanted to branch out, and specifically because I didn't want people to see that I was getting into this stuff more. Um, well, people I don't know. I talked to my friends about it, and they weren't fucking with it, but they weren't putting it down. They're just like, this is not for me. Totally fine. Not for everybody. Um, so, yeah, I don't remember the specific date. I remember the name. Um, 2018, and honestly, if things didn't go well, I would not be here right now. I would probably be a completely different person. Like, genuinely, just completely different. Because I, everything about being online in those circumstances exceeded every expectation I've ever had about anything, to be honest. Because I was excited. I was like, oh my god. At that point, I was watching My Hero Academia. I had just finished. I was halfway through Hunter x Hunter, which is one of my favorite shows of all time across any medium. So it's like, oh shit, I wonder what people were thinking, blah blah blah. But I thought that was kind of gonna be it. Like maybe I would read some stuff. It was like a burner account essentially. I would follow some people, maybe try to chat. Didn't really know how to approach that, so it was gonna be, oh yeah, whatever. Um, but honestly, that's probably one of the most important decisions I've ever made. Um, how beneficial it's been, impossible to tell. I personally think it's been great. Maybe there's a world line me where I don't make the account and I am in perfect shape and I'm worth a bunch of money. I don't know. It's impossible to tell. I wouldn't even really want that life because I appreciate what I have right now. Um, Regardless, I've met friends in that time frame, 2018, early 2019, that I still talk to every single day online. Like I genuinely consider them some of my best friends. And I'm very grateful for that experience. And the reason I bring that up is because I was thinking about that experience and that the essentially I was taking a leap into this unknown thing. And after April 9th, 2023, I wanted to do that again. I don't really know how I thought I was going to go about it. I was much more comfortable being online. Like I said, literally 5 years of experience at that point. You know what? For some reason in 2018, I think anime Twitter, as it was called, it was really burgeoning into its own community, like its own industry. So if you got in, you're in a couple group chats, you're friendly with people that are like have bigger accounts just because they've been online for 10 years. You can amass followers or mutuals because I followed everyone back. I just wanted to talk to people. I had around 700, 800, not a lot, but I've never had that many followers, and I still haven't to this day. Since then, on my first account, I've been suspended on Twitter like 20 times. I don't do anything bad. I don't. I promise it's not. It's all ban evasion stuff from the first time I got suspended, which it was justified. That's all I'll say. Um, but genuinely, like, so this account I've had, my current one, Strokey Main, I've had since summer of 2021, and that's by far the longest I've ever had an account. And I'm not planning on losing it anytime soon. Knock on every piece of wood. But yeah, so I was grateful for that experience, and I was thinking, okay, well, obviously that's not going to happen, but maybe if I get on Stan Twit, K-pop Twit, I could have like some friends at least. I could meet some mutuals or whatever. And it didn't happen like that. There's a lot of, I don't even know if I've deleted them. You might be able to see them if you scroll through millions of my posts. Um, like the, hi, my name's blah, blah, blah. I am new to Sanskrit. These are my alts. Retweet, follow for it. I did it a couple times. And that works to get people, it's like sorting through the search filter. It doesn't work to get people to interact with you or talk to you about shit. And I was coming from a different perspective. 2018, I was 18. I was a young little boy. Most people were much older than, well, were older than me in some capacity. This time, I am 23. I am significantly more emotionally mature than I was at 18. And I know that I was. So I'm scrolling through these, hey, follow, retweet, follow, let's be moods. And it's like, born in 2004, born in 2004, born in 2005. There's like, every other one is like, oh, 09 liner, 08 liner, 010, like 10 liner. Like, it was breaking my brain. Because I have a very strict no minors policy on my Twitter account. Very, very strict. If I even see someone without an age in their bio and they don't explicitly mention their age in some capacity, I just soft block them. I just don't want, not for me. I'm sure everyone's a lovely person. I'm not going to deal with it. So yeah, seeing that kind of like made me feel like I shouldn't even be trying to get into this community, this larger, because for young people, and I don't do the whole 23-year-old I'm washed thing, like genuinely. I say that a lot, but I don't actually mean it because it's not true. It would be disrespectful to those who have lived longer than us to be like, oh, my life is over at 23. And for those that don't even get to live anyway, I'm not going to get into a philosophical debate about that. So yeah, but at that time I was like, holy shit, I am washed. It is over for me. Just stick to the stuff you know. I gotta stick to the status quo. I cannot go into this uncharted territory for me, I should say, and be the old guy that's like, hey, partners, I'm new to this K-pop stuff. What is a kroomph? Oh my god, that's the first time I saw kroomph, CROOMF, was, it blew my mind. I know that's not a specific K-pop thing, and I knew what oomph was already. Vaguely, I know the concept of it at least because I've been online, obviously. But seeing kroomph, that broke my brain, and that was kind of one of the first things. I was like, this isn't for me. So yeah, I genuinely thought about recusing myself. I made a new account. I didn't want to muddy up my water of, I don't even know what the hell I am online. I was at that point because I haven't watched anime in like 2 years. The account at that point existed solely to speak to my friends that I have made all those years back. Same group chats, just talking, chatting shit, doing our thing, and I was content with that. And then I wanted to get into K-pop, so I made a new account. No success. I think I made 2. No, I only made 1 because I was very scared about what would happen if I make 2 different accounts on my phone. They would start to try to verify all 3, and I'd be fucked. So yeah, that was around, what comes after April? May. That was around May. And then I went to see twice, at SoFi Stadium in LA in June, early June. Um, at that point, I had converted um, my account strictly into whatever I want. I was like, why am I hiding this? I don't care. My friends don't care. I love this stuff. It's fine. Who cares? So yeah, that's where that started. I saw it twice in June. It was the greatest day of my life. It was funny enough. The pre and post concert experience were fucking miserable. Pre was actually fine. Post concert was fucking horrible. I went with some I went with a friend, a genuine very good friend that I have. Wasn't into K-pop, didn't want to spend the money for it. Perfectly understandable. He was driving some of his friends from school to the concert who are super big into K-pop, really big into Twice, incredibly shy people, which obviously I understand. But they were close. I was just meeting them. I was rolling with them to the concert. We didn't sit in the same seat, same like next to each other because I bought separate ones before I even knew they were gonna go, and so I was obligated. I was tethered to them the entire night. When I say night, I don't mean the actual concert because I sat in silence in the concert, mouth agape, eyes watering, next to the loudest two little girls you'll ever see in your life. Um, Genuinely, they were so small. They had to stand on the chairs to like be able to see, and they were still like to my shoulder. I was standing up like the whole concert, and that once again made me feel very old. And when I walked into the seats, went very early so I could collect myself. And then when I was flanked by the only two little girls in the entire section, everyone else was like my age. I saw them walking in. I was like, oh shit, oh my god, this is actually like we're kind of like we're we're colleagues in this age life. There's life shit, and then like a sea of 50,000 people. I'm sure there were more kids, but this little like 2,000 person section, little 2,000 person section, it was the only two I could see were right next to me, and there was another like, this is really for me. And what am I doing? Am I in the right spot? And I mean, I am. I love it. I saw Sana, I almost cried. I saw Diane, almost cried. I saw every single one of them. It made me, like, the knot in my chest just got tighter and tighter and tighter. It was incredible, unbelievable. Anyway, after that, my friend, I told him, it's going to be stupid traffic. The concert's supposed to end around 10. I'll text you when it feels like they're signing off. Well, I knew when they're signing off because I'd seen previous concert stuff, like the clips and stuff. So I was like, hey man, you gotta go. So he didn't. He waited until we were out to call him to leave. We walked around for an hour, waiting for him to come. He was sharing location with us, and it showed that he was like a mile away. So after waiting, we had to walk. And then the motel, excuse me, I slept on the floor, which I volunteered to do. So that wasn't like a new development. It just made things worse because I was already upset. I don't know. So it was a very interesting experience. The main thing it taught me was that I'm never not driving myself to a concert ever again. I will sit in traffic. That's fine. I'll sit in it because I can listen to my music and do my own thing. I am not waiting for people. And it's not entirely his fault. It's mostly his fault, but the traffic was terrible. So yeah, looking down this timeline, it's really funny thinking back as I'm talking about it that it's like, oh yeah, graduated college twice. Oh my god, I saw the concert, it was incredible, blah, blah, blah. Because that's really how it felt, to be honest. It was such a burst of new energy. I mentioned that I was missing something, and I didn't think I meant material. In fact, I actually thought I meant a personal relationship with another person, finding a significant other, which it's not a good mindset to have, in my opinion. Like searching for this person to fill this void, it's not healthy. It's not going to work. So I'm glad that didn't turn out like that. Whatever. But yeah, I genuinely thought it's like, oh, maybe I need to meet somebody, whether it be romantic or otherwise. Maybe that's the hole I have. And it turned out I needed fulfillment of any kind. K-pop, it started with Twice, and then the Seraphim, and then Stray Kids, and then those were the main three. Twice, then the Seraphim, then Stray Kids. Like within every other week, I would say, I really picked up on what the next bird, like the next group. Um, I don't know. It was so refreshing to feel like the musicians, the artists, the performers were into the stuff they're doing. And I don't want to be the jaded Westerner, oh, music is dead. Because it's not. I would never say that. It's just that I love pop music. I love basically all types of music. Um, since college, I've been super into indie rock. And I've always loved rap. I love rap so much. So those two kind of dominate. But I remember as a child, as a youth, I loved pop music so much. I would my middle school would play, um, like the whatever top 100 Billboard like singles at lunch every Friday, and I would hear like when Rihanna was popping, Katy Perry, um, the Ellie Goulding song "Lights." I loved that song so much. Even like "Clarity" by Zed. You guys all know the songs. All I'm saying is, when I was first listening to Twice's music again, it really felt like I hate saying this. It felt like I was a kid. I didn't feel like that. The experience of listening to pop music and enjoying it was as if I were 13. That's how I'll say it. Because I was, I don't know. I don't like when people, personally, I don't like when people are like, oh, when they talk about how things felt different when they were kids, they just want to be 13 again. I didn't want that at all. I am glad I got to have a similar coming to come to Jesus moment, come to K-pop Jesus moment, as I did when I first heard like Diamonds by Rihanna or some shit. I was like, oh my god, I didn't know music could be this cool. And then again, I was like, I'm so glad that I can still think music can be this cool. Um, but yeah, everyone knows why K-pop is so endearing. When I first got into it, I was calling it the brain worm. K-pop very specific is the the companies, K-pop producers, um, both musical and variety content. They are so skilled at creating content that just penetrates your mind. It gets in the cracks. I don't know if it's because most people's impression of K-pop, most people my age and younger, maybe 25 and younger, their impression of K-pop and K-pop fandom specifically is that they're like crazy. They're wild. They're so intense. And they feel like they could really release the inhibitions that they have, the reservations they have when they're fans of other groups, other like musical acts around the world, and they can really just like pour themselves into these groups, and that's why everything is so effective. I genuinely couldn't tell you. I think it has something to do with the concept of K-pop fandom versus other fandoms, across anything really. The closest thing I've ever seen is One Direction, but I mean, it's the same concept. Um, for a certain group of 35 to 50-year-old women, Supernatural. I've definitely seen some Supernatural women. Um, more power to them. Never seen the show. Can't talk about it one way or another. But I've absolutely seen some freaky ass posts about those Supernatural boys, the Winchesters. But yeah, not even. Of course, I don't mean that K-pop fandom is defined by like silly thirst posts or whatever. Obviously not. That's actually a significant. It's a minority. I was gonna say significant minority. What the hell does that mean? Um, it's more so just like people allow themselves to love when it comes to K-pop idols and groups. and I don't really know why it's so different. I would love to sit here and ponder even more than I have now. I couldn't explain it. Anyway, noticing that, I was personally, despite my growing love for these girls twice, these women, they're all older than me, twice, and then the Seraphim, and then Stray Kids, and I've started. Oh, and then New Jeans. Actually, I kind of said the order wrong. Twice, and then New Jeans, and then the Seraphim. And New Jeans was actually the first group I bought merch for. I don't think it was official, but I bought a New Jeans shirt, and I have a toy shirt now too. But I didn't. New Jeans was interesting because, unlike Twice I got into the music, but it was through music videos, and I was just like, I felt my heart melted watching them. New Jeans, I didn't know what they looked like for like a month. I found them on Spotify, and I was like, oh my god, this is incredible. This is so good. So it was an inverse type of thing. Um, anyway, that was a tangent. I was finding myself doing the thing that I do, where I don't like using this term because I kind of don't believe in it, but I won't get into that. I was love bombing myself when it comes to K-pop. That's the only term I could think of. But essentially, I have a tendency throughout my life to get hyper fixated, was the word I was thinking of, on something, and really just wearing it out. Just bringing every ounce of enjoyment I can from it, and then feeling this massive sense of disappointment when it's over, and then forgetting about it. I did that with writing. I actually didn't get any enjoyment out of that. I wrote a couple stories. I hated reading them so much that I couldn't go back. I really want to go back. I can't. But like different artists, music, movies, TV shows, it's just like, it's mostly things with an ending. And I was kind of worried before I knew the extent of K-pop and how consistently they work. I was worried that was going to be what this is. Like, I would go really hard for a month, and it's like, okay, am I going to feel left empty? Because those weeks, the first couple of weeks after I finish a video game that I love, Persona 5 actually, for instance, and I've gone back millions of, like 5 times at this point, but after the first time I played it, I loved that game so much, and the release I had, like the emotional just like letdown when I knew I wouldn't be able to experience it for the first time again. It fucked with me bad for like a month, and I just know that, like, I go into stuff now knowing that that's possible. Like, I have the tendency to get attached to something, and then when it's gone, it fucks with me afterward. So I was a little worried that was going to happen with K-pop. So I was really hesitant to allow myself to take part in the exceptional love that people show for these groups. And even now, I still am hesitant, but I think that's mostly because, besides the whole hyperfixation and then post hyperfixation depression cycle that I'm cognizant of, I'm even more cognizant of the possibility of being disingenuous. Like, not even intentionally, just when I feel like I am being inauthentic, I have to stop what I'm doing. I mentioned writing, and like creative writing, something I've never done. I wanted to try. I admire people who could craft stories so much that I wanted to try, and I write so much anyway. Blah blah blah. The reason I hated it so much wasn't really because stories were good or bad. They weren't good, but like they weren't awful to read. It was just boring. It was nothing, and I hated it Like I can't go back and read them. I have a physical reaction to going back to read because I feel so inauthentic trying to write it. I have nothing to say. Well, what I my internal monologue as I'm trying to be creative is that I have nothing to say. I don't have anything that I can express in a creative way. I could talk like this. It's been 37 minutes. I've paused one time, I think. I can talk. I can be methodical about stuff. I can explain the emotions I'm feeling. I cannot I cannot express emotion. Anyway, that's what internally I can't shake that feeling even now. So that's why that was all born of out of my fear of inauthenticity and my disdain for inauthenticity about other people. So as I'm seeing, experiencing new things, I'm seeing as I'm doing these music reactions and stuff, and y'all are watching, and maybe I'm very reserved for something or something not. It's just if that's the reason. I have to be as true to myself as possible, or else I would just hate everything. It's I wish it were more noble that it's like oh, I have an obligation to the people that watch what I do or like take time to interact with me, and I do. I don't. That's not lost on me. It's just I am literally incapable of anything other than being myself because I would it would destroy me to be anything else. Like mentally, I would crumble. Anyway, um, oh my goodness. Yeah, I don't even know why I started doing that. This also happens in the conversations I have with my friends. Um, I warn them that I'm going to be talking a lot, and then I talk, and then my brain goes to something else, and I talk about that for like 30 minutes, and I come back, and I don't remember what I'm talking about. And then yes, I do. I mentioned the love bombing, the hyperfixation stuff. Um, I didn't know how to approach my fandom. So I was kind of like, reserved a little bit. I was still trying to find people online. Sometimes, like, especially once I went to the concert, twice. Once I went to the concert, it kind of felt like my month and a half to that point. Yeah, to almost 2 months on the dot, actually, of fandom. It was like justified, like, or not justified. Me being able to call myself a once, saying like I am in it with these girls for the rest of my life, and I genuinely believe that obviously now, but I was worried about bringing that up in some way because of the idea of inauthenticity. Like I didn't want to. I felt weird talking about it. I felt fake. But after going to the concert, I was like, and then coming back, that was my biggest fear. The concert would mark the, okay, did everything, now what? But instead, I was just like, I need to do everything in my power to get back and see these girls. And they're going to be in Vegas, so I'll be there for sure. Um, so yeah, that kind of reaffirmed that, like, this is real. Um, and so from there, it was a process of trying to figure out what I wanted to do with that. I'm hesitating right now because there's something that I can get into, and it would be personal, not depressing, or it would just be personal. And it would get me talking for a very long time. And I'm looking at the clock, and this is a 40-minute long video, and I'm halfway through the year, and I haven't even got into the channel, which is what I wanted to talk about in the first place. Anyway, so let's go to the channel, and this is gonna go blend in. Like I'm sure many others have, I have this feeling within me, this lingering thought that I want to be meaningful to people. I said it wasn't going to be therapy, and it's not, because I'm not sad about this. It's just an acknowledgement of my reality. The underlying reason for me wanting to write, or if I ever get into making music, when I download FL Studio and fuck around and watch a bunch of tutorials and make it whatever, or I was into sports. I'm still into sports, but like I tried to, talk to people online and speak from a position of authority because I think I know a lot, which I do know a lot about sports, to be fair. All of that stuff is born out of my deep desire to have some kind of legacy. I'm not delusional enough to think that I will be this big person, like a personality, whatever. I don't even think I would want that. I'm in my search for meaning. Everyone searches for this meaning of life, and everyone comes to a different conclusion. The conclusion I have come to, at least as a 23-year-old man, is that I, deep down, want to make an impact on something. And unfortunately, I know that is where my desire to be on YouTube came from. Yes and no. I've mentioned on the community post that I've talked about, I guess, now multiple times in this video, I talked about hating the idea of calling myself a YouTuber, and like I don't call the stuff I do content, and that's all true. But it's not because I disrespect the idea of being on YouTube. It's because I know deep down that if this is something that goes well, to whatever extent going well is for me at the time, I will be deeply satisfied. I will cherish that. The idea of being somebody is so addicting to me. And I really hate that about myself, if I'm being honest. But it's true. And that's why I'm so specific about the way I've approached this. Because when I say I want to find a community of people, I don't want to, this isn't about blowing up, it's very genuine. And it's mostly, not mostly, it's genuine. It's real. That's what I want. And frankly, that's what I've already achieved. And it like, if you told me on, oh, sorry, I actually had the dates. I was preparing for this. If you told me on July 13th, 2023, when I posted my first video, which is now private, I was so embarrassed by it that I privated it. It's just a channel intro. Potentially, maybe one or two of you have seen it. It was really stupid. The lighting was terrible. But yeah, if you had told me then that you will have multiple videos like reach 1,000 views, like I think there was a week or two when I was posting basically every day that every video was over 1,000, like I would have gotten scared, honestly. Even now, the idea of 1,000 people clicking on a video that I am technically involved with, because I'm also not stupid enough to be like, oh, people are watching me or whatever. It's obviously for the group. It's for ATs specifically, because these are the videos that went crazy. And I would want nothing more than that. I'm being very honest about that, because I love them. They deserve everything. Every bit of praise they get, they deserve. And the fact that I'm somehow very, like, such a tiny piece of that, like, within the broader community, it gives me all of the satisfaction that I needed from that lingering sense of needing to be important, or whatever the hell I mentioned like a couple minutes ago. Genuinely, that's all it's been about. I want, like, I don't know, the fact, like, when I found out that Answer might have been at the end of might be in the current timeline, and that was like my prediction or whatever, my theory. I don't know why I put it in quotes. That was my theory. And that was like my thing as an AT's reactor. I felt so good. It felt like it was a culmination of all of my lingering desires, and it felt, it was incredible. Honestly, it was so cathartic. It was incredible. I my vocabulary gets limited the more emotional I get. Um, so yeah, I as I think about it, and I will touch in the greater community. Actually, no, I was gonna switch gears, but I don't want to. We're 47 minutes in, and I think I stopped the another like 5 minutes, so probably about 50 minutes. I wanted to say thank you. If you, by some miracle, are watching this right now, you probably fuck with me in some sort of way. And it's crazy to me still. I know I make light about this idea that, well, I don't make light about it. It's true. People watch these types of videos primarily for the music content that the people are watching with them. People are reacting to. And I'm not. There's no delusions about that. But most people that understand that, I think. But the fact that now I've met some folks through this and become I would consider genuine friends on some level with some of you guys. I and other people love engaging with me and talking, and in the comments we have there's threads where it's 10 comments and it's just us going back and forth. I am so grateful for this opportunity, and I it's a community that ATs has helped me build. That's the way I'll put it. And I don't know, I'm so grateful to them, and I'm so grateful to y'all. And as I transition into the thing I was going to talk about 2 minutes ago, that appreciation, it kind of builds this obligation in my mind. Whether it's valid or not doesn't really matter because it's there, it's present. So I know if I saw a random account with 650 subscribers talking about making multiple community posts every couple weeks, talking about being sorry for not uploading, or oh, I'm so sorry, this edit didn't work out, blah blah blah. Oh, I'm still around, you guys. Sorry, I'll get something for you, blah blah blah. I'll be like, it's probably okay, man. You get 600 subscribers. It's probably fine. It's probably super cool, but it's not for me, and that's kind of changed my perspective on other people doing YouTube. You get it's you feel an obligation, and to me, it's not an obligation to post content. It's an obligation to myself through you folks. I've met people that share the same interests with me deeply, that I absolutely love talking to, that make me feel so happy when I see comments talking about the music, or how responding to some comments I make or some thoughts I have. I'm like, oh my god, people are actually interacting with me. This is real. People want to talk to me. It sounds a little bleak, but I don't care. That's the reality. That's how I feel. So when I take in 4 weeks, when I post one video, which is what we're on now, I feel weird. I haven't felt the same, and it's not just the COVID. I don't know. And it's another issue I have is getting very parasocial. It never manifests physically, tangibly. I don't ever type at creators and stuff like that, because I'm still a realist. It's just emotionally I get so attached to people in my phone, and that happens consistently, whether they be YouTube people or not really sports anymore, or K-pop idols, just entertainment figures. I develop emotional attachments to them, and the stuff they make. But that also happens with people, with like, not that they're not people, with like non-entertainment folks. I feel close to people very quickly. I'm someone who's, my instinct is to love everybody around me. And I only deviate from that if someone does something that makes me not not appreciate them or not feel they're deserving of that type of love. So when I see a bunch of people surrounding me in this way that are like reciprocating this interest, this like the shared feeling of excitement, it just makes me appreciate what I have and love you guys. I really hope that's not weird. Um, so yeah, I don't. I have a lot to say. If it wasn't obvious, I was going to make sure I edit out dead spots, and then I realized, like, I was generally going to watch the entire thing back, but I haven't stopped talking for 50 minutes. Oh my goodness. Okay. 2023, I'll end it and then get into what's next. 2023 has been a banner year for the Strokey Main name. I still don't like saying my name out loud. I don't know why I use this as my brand, but that's life. I've met some wonderful people. I've developed friendships with people that I genuinely hope to see continue for a very long time. I've grown attached to incredible artists, like deeply, like they are inextricable from my life. That connection will be there forever. I've gotten to know myself greatly, like so much. I've started a hobby that I genuinely enjoy, and I enjoy so much that when I'm not doing it, I feel kind of bad. It's it was incredible, and I am deeply appreciative of every single person that has joined me on this journey. Not just YouTube, just my life. So, we go to the next chapter, 2024, but not even on the macro scale. Just what's next in general. What's next? What's coming up? I don't know. All I can say is I am going to be re-employed. I don't know when or how, but it's going to happen. I'm going to be back in school, but I'm not going to let that become an excuse. I'm not going to skip work to make videos, but I'm also not going to not make videos because I have to work tomorrow. This is something I genuinely enjoy doing, and even more, if there's anything I enjoy more than listening to new music and new stuff, it's talking to you folks about it after I'm done doing it. So yeah, in terms of the very short term, the New Year's wrap up, 2023, my personal best songs of the year coming out. I'm gonna have an album of the year video coming out. Depending on how stupid I feel posting a 2023 video, like midway through January, not midway, but like a week into January, I might do a top B-sides video of the year as well. I just love ranking stuff. I think I've said that. AT's content, I'm gonna watch all of the fan cams, etc., etc. I asked, I think a month ago at this point. It's been, I haven't forgotten. I asked for requests. I requested stuff to watch, and I will get to it. There's other groups, Extonary, P1 Harmony, Zykers. I don't think I've listened to all of their music. Zykers I have, I'm pretty sure. P1 and Extonary, I know I haven't. So I'm going to get back to them. I suppose this isn't a sign off because I'm going to get into the thing. I mentioned in the community post that I don't. Why am I grabbing stuff on my desk? I got to stop fidgeting. Within all of my mental hangups, I think the biggest one I have for YouTube is that I don't want to become a reactor mentally, because despite my genuine respect for those who are doing this on a, like, not professional scale. I suppose it'd be professional, doing this to make a living. I have nothing but respect for those folks. This is not an issue with the concept of making these videos. I just don't feel that I personally have anything to add when I watch the variety content type stuff, because I know that before I started making any type of video watching that stuff, I just watch those videos laying in my bed on my iPad, and I smile and I laugh and I giggle in complete silence, which technically it implies that when I listen to music, I do pause and talk and say shit, and that's true. That's how I listen to music. I pause and I restart. It's so I like I said, want it to be authentic, and I everything I say I mean. So like, if I'm watching One Tease and I make a comment, it's not like me making up the comment. It's real. It's like how I feel. It's just I'm digging, you know? I'm like, how do I don't watch that stuff to be like, how does this make me feel? What am I thinking? I don't think. I turn everything off, I read the captions and I smile and I giggle. So that's where my hang up is. I am still going to do it. It's just going to be less frequent, which means rather than like maybe having a schedule of groups after I'm done with the music, I'm probably just going to try to find new groups and listen to more music, which is the reason I got on here in the first place. Find groups, listen to music, take a journey if it's warranted. Warranted as in if I'm vibing with them, because that's another thing. I'm a little scared to keep branching out because there's going to be times like with Ive, and I love Ive. This is not there. I love the music. The new album is incredible, but I didn't feel it when I watched it. It was like nothing coming to my head. I felt bad. Like I felt bad for putting that out. It was like it was not worth a post, and that's essentially how I feel about some other stuff. And so I want to avoid that, which is kind of restricts me from watching new stuff, only because I don't want to start a deep dive and then I'm just not feeling it, and then it's like, well, shit, what do I do now? So I don't know, it's a balance, but that's the minutia of this YouTube show. That's fine. So yeah, I just want to say, make that like it's just, I don't know. It's something that I'm still thinking about, and it's not doesn't mean the end of any type of variety content. It's just I want you to understand how I feel about it at least. Okay, so we're nearing an hour. I think I've talked my fill. My throat is certainly telling me I have, and I want to get this up before noon. So I'm gonna sign off. This is Strokey Man. I hope you have a wonderful new year. I hope that 2023 gave you enough to learn from so that 2024 can be a new year. I don't really believe in the greater idea of good or bad when it comes to previous experience that isn't directly physically harmful and stuff like that. Like emotional experiences, to me, for the most part, are not really good or bad. At least the way I try to process them. I actually saw Mingy he was on a live recently. At least I think recently. I saw a post today where he was talking about the idea of experience and not dwelling on it one way or the other, but understanding the importance of learning and like growing from the previous things that you've done and being cognizant of that growth. And that's part of the reason why I love him so much, is that that's exactly how I feel. So if 2023 gave you circumstances where you feel like they hurt, but there's something you can take something from it, I hope that you're able to. I personally think the greatest part about being a human is that you can decide how you feel about stuff, how you grow from things. You can decide how you allow things to affect you long term. and it's very difficult to get there. And Lord knows it's different. It took so long for me to understand this, and it's taking even longer for me to really put it into practice. But it's something I believe, and I hope that if this is something that speaks to you conceptually, that you're able to also come through and, you know, find some more stuff about you. Find something new about yourself. Discover a new side of yourself. Learn something. It's just so fun. I love being alive. That's the thing. I love being alive. I love being able to think and process. It's incredible. I don't want to get preachy, so I'm gonna for sure stop talking now. Um, I I'm so grateful to you all. I don't really know what else to say. I hope you have a great new year. I hope you're safe. I hope you do. I hope your life is wonderful. Oh my goodness. I will be back soon. And when I come back, I will be back. There will be no more 2 week breaks. It's just not happening anymore. All right. I'll be seeing you. I love you. Bye bye.